Welcome. Name's Jason Murphy. This is Rebel Dharma, Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9. You're glad you guys are here. And I'm not sure if there's anyone online that is new to the group or in the room that's new to the group. But if you are interested in introducing yourself, you can do so. Just let it be awkward. It's like an awkward long. No, we'll go ahead and get started. So I've been contemplating. I contemplate a lot, actually. It's kind of my default mode. I just kind of sit in contemplation. But I've been working with it's like a couple different teachings, and then really bringing in some psychology. I started teaching at Antioch University, which is a master's level psychology program. And it's really been great. And what the way that it's been great is it's been kind of reinvigorating some of, like things I forgot that I knew, things that I knew and then forgot that I knew. And then I'm teaching about things. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I knew that. So that's been happening for me, which is kind of exciting and fun. And just, it's like, oh, yeah, the brain still works in all these ways. Partially because I feel like meditation, mindfulness is just so useful in creating and supporting kind of resiliency factors, not only in like literally physiologically in the brain, but also I think, within this whole kind of psychological, physiological kind of body, mind, heart kind of apparatus that we kind of slog around in for however many years, and so I'm going to kind of try to collate some of those thoughts and ideas, bringing in, as I often do, a mix of Western psychology and Eastern kind of contemplative philosophy. So Buddhist psychology. And the practice, a few weeks ago, and I guess for the past few weeks, I've been working with these three kind of instructions, invitations, phrases, which is let go, let be, let in. And, let go, let be, let in is also correlated with our brains, the triune brain. We have kind of three levels of kind of brain capacity development, right? We have this kind of instinctual brain that is kind of reactive, that is kind of animalistic, that's very kind of attuned to kind of fight, flight, freeze. And then we have this kind of the emotional brain, which is known as the limbic system. And this is really where we're kind of learning to attune not only to ourselves, but to other people. And then we have our kind of Homo sapien brain, this kind of cortex and frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, where this is where the kind of a lot of cognition happens, a lot of kind of forethought happens, things that, other animals don't have, except for maybe, some of the primates. Like chimpanzees have some forethought ability and whatnot. And anyway, so utilizing the different kinds of meditation or focus on meditation helps us to really, I guess you could say, kind of vertically align with the three types of our brain, the three pieces of our brain. And developmentally, we're evolving, and meditation, I think, helps us to be connected to these different aspects of what it means to be human, right? So I've been working with that, and then I started also working with another kind of teaching from Rick Hanson. Rick Hanson is one of my kind of contemporary kind of mentors, teachers. He's really a colleague, but he's a neuroscientist, a psychologist, and a meditation teacher. And he wrote a great book called The Buddha's Brain, if you're interested. It was kind of his groundbreaking work. And now he's, written several books, one called Hardwiring Happiness, one called Just One Thing. He's written kind of several. I think he has a new book called Neurodharma. So he's been busy. And there's another kind of teaching that is in this kind of triune brain alignment. And it's calm, content, connect. And so if you think about calm, well, first we're trying to learn to calm our nervous system. Many of us are very reactive. Like, let's say this is your brain. We're going around, flipping our lids. We're getting kind of hyper aroused throughout the day. Stress, anxiety, fear, anger, worry, probably about it. Terror, that can escalate, right? But the flipping of the lid is a natural reactive kind of lower brain response. And this concept of calm and really just bringing in, okay, can we calm the nervous system? And what that allows us to do is to reconnect to our kind of higher thinking. Have you guys ever been in a situation where your ability to kind of think and cognize just disconnected? Like being really angry, being really scared, being highly anxious. Anyone? Okay, a couple head nods. Right, I'm good. One hand, thank you. Yeah. This happens quite often. Now, so that would be kind of hyper arousal. And then the opposite of that is hypoarousal. So this is down regulation. This is like, okay, I'm flipping my lid on my ability to kind of cognize or assess what's going on in the situation is, it's too overwhelming. So instead of the fight, flight, or kind of, hyper arousal, the hypoarousal is shutting down, numbing out, disconnecting. Sometimes it's called dissociating. And so this first aspect of like a meditative experience, bringing in mindfulness, bringing in meditation, often the idea when people come to meditation for the first time is something like, oh, I want to learn to calm down. Like I want to learn to be calm or be happy. And sometimes the opposite happens. Has anyone had that experience? Yeah. Yeah. With a couple of hands. Yeah. And that definitely kind of happened for me. Although it was a mix. There was mostly kind of, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Trying to kind of calm your body down or calm your mind down. And the thoughts actually just sped up. So there was an increase in kind of anxiety or an increase in restlessness or agitation. And so calm is really addressing the kind of our nervous system, really, our central nervous system, but also our peripheral or autonomic nervous system. So the parasympathetic and sympathetic, which are two aspects of what happens when we're either stressed or not stressed, right? So parasympathetic meaning kind of peaceful response. Peaceful kind of down, it's a little bit of down regulation, but it's actually calm, rest, digest is one of the ways they talk about it in neuroscience. And then the sympathetic nervous system is a kind of stress response. And so, and that's, upregulating. That's this very kind of, I need to get active. I have to get very engaged. And so calm helps us to, this meditative practice that we're going to do in a couple of minutes really helps us to kind of connect into that. Let's kind of soothe the reactive kind of instinctual, primal part of the brain, which often is because of life circumstances or traumas, overactive. Right? Side note, there's two parts of the brain. One is called the amygdala, and the other is called the hypothalamus. And they're right next to each other, and they're in this limbic system of the brain. The limbic system, well, actually, they're kind of right in between. So here's the brain. This knuckle would be the amygdala, and then the hypothalamus is this other knuckle on my thumb. And then down here is the instinctual part of the brain, reptilian brain. And then my thumb itself is actually the limbic system, right, within the brain. So then there is the cortex and then the prefrontal cortex. And actually the prefrontal cortex, my fingernails touch, it wraps all the way back around onto itself, right? So the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala are they're connected. Why am I saying all this? Because meditation isn't just sitting still and watching your fucking breath. Like, there is so much more happening here, where we're actually learning to lower the reactivity of the amygdala and increase the capacity of the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the part of the brain that says, it's going to be okay. Like, you're going to survive this. It helps to fortify. It helps to build more resilience for distress tolerance. So meditation isn't just sitting and wishing to be happy, right? Although that's part of it. There is some ability that and some practices that are leading to that. But it's more around, can we learn to calm the nervous system and then engage in a sense of well-being, contentment. And then through that sense of contentment with ourselves and with the world, we can begin to connect, not only connecting to others, but also connecting to, what someone could say, our true nature, which is this calm, this content, well-being. So even though, the Buddha lived 2,568 years ago, he was very aware of this and taught practices leading to discovering this sense of, well-being, right? Which he called nibbana. Nibbana literally means the extinguishing of the flame. And he would talk about how we are, like, what we call suffering is really this being just on, like, it's like being on fire with, a distortion of sensory perception. And the clinging and attachment to desire, it's like, so the suffering is like being on fire, and the cooling, or the nibbana, the turning off or extinguishing the flame, is basically kind of dousing ourselves with calm, content, connected feeling, right? Which then leads to more well-being. So this is what the Buddha, it's often called nirvana too, right? Which isn't a place. That oftentimes people are like, oh, it's like a Shangri-La, it's a heavenly realm. Nirvana is a state of being. It's an experience that is sustainable. And I think there's actually a way that we can talk about what's called little nibbanas. One of my teachers, well, he's been a teacher of mine, but I never met him personally. His name was Buddhadasa Bhikkhu. He's a Thai meditation master. And he would say that we all have the capacity to have what's called little nibbanas, like moments of clarity, moments of freedom, where that calm, content, connect comes into alignment. And then we can experience that, maybe for a breath, maybe for a few minutes, maybe for a period of time. And then it will, fade because life rushes back in. And so that's little nibbanas. That's these kind of moments of, sometimes people can call it peak experience. So yeah, so I've been wanting to just kind of focus on these three components as a meditative instruction. So let's do that. So I'll work with a few phrases that will kind of help to, hopefully help to soothe and contain, collect the attention. So finding a posture that's workable, that's sustainable, where you can both be relaxed and alert. If you feel comfortable, allowing your eyes to close. If not, it's okay. Just allowing your eyes to be downcast, like looking on a soft focus in front of you. So just connecting in. First, maybe kind of spatially, like the eyes are closed, just kind of bring awareness to what's happening around you, just outside your body. You sense people that are nearby. We have this ability to sense our environment. And then perhaps opening to the different sounds, the comings and goings of sound. And so now that we've kind of established this level of maybe external awareness, see if we can allow that to be in the background of our attention. And the invitation is to aim the attention inward, connecting with the breath, this body, the experience of breathing. Where can you experience the breath? So once you've established a point where you can really kind of easily experience the breath, often it's the tip of the nose or the nostrils, sometimes the rise and fall of the belly, expansion and contraction of the chest. The invitation is to just choose one, wherever you can most easily experience the breath. And you might have already noticed that the mind doesn't necessarily want to do what the intention is. Might jump off, future, past, have some commentary, some judgments, some criticisms, some bad advice. It's all okay. Sometimes it's helpful to give the mind a job. So breathing in, let's use the word calm. And then breathing out, using the word relax. So just kind of silently with the in-breath, just silently saying the word calm. And on the exhale or the out breath, silently saying the word relax. Breathing in, I calm my mind. Breathing out, relax the body. Feel free to use the whole phrase or just the word. Breathing in, I calm the mind. Breathing out, relax the body. Or just very simply, calm, relax. Of course, the mind may wander off. Your attention get pulled somewhere else. It's not a problem. Just recognizing perhaps where the attention had gone, future or past. Breathing in, calm. Breathing out, relax. Once we've established a sense of calm, can begin to open to this idea of contentment. This can be a felt sense, experience of being content, tapping into that, perhaps a time when you felt content. Sense of contentment. Acceptance of the way things are. Or there's a more directive kind of inviting in a phrase. May I be content. So the invitation is to kind of let go of the calm and relax Just keep that same pace with may I be content, or may I feel contented. May I be content with the way things are. Again and again, if the mind wanders off, it's not a problem. Just recognizing perhaps where it's gone into some story, some mental fabrication, something from the past, something from the future. And then reconnecting with the phrase, or going back to the calm. The next invitation is to explore a sense of connection, an integration of all our parts. A connection to the heart, this sense of original goodness, innate, born goodness. Connecting to our sense of well-being, the part of ourselves, even if we've denied it or disavowed it in some way, the part of ourselves that truly wishes to be happy. Recognizing if the attention wanders off, reconnecting with that heart space or that sense of original goodness. And perhaps for the next few minutes, just dropping all sense of doing and just being with perhaps these three experiences: calm, content, and connected. You can use the three words or just tap into a rotation of the felt sense of calmness, of contentment, and connection. Okay. So now what I'd like to do is, well, actually just take a moment and kind of reflect, what was that experience like for you? Was it challenging? Was it easeful? Is it helpful? Is there a shift in the mind? Is there a shift in the body? All right. So at this time, I would just open up for any questions. If anyone wants to share kind of what that experience was like for them, also, you can either share, or if you have any questions about the practice. Yeah.
What's original goodness?
Mm. The question was, what is original goodness? What do you think?
I guess originally what I was thinking it was kind of the innocence of being a child. Like, I guess because nobody's born evil. What that was.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the there isn't a real clear definition of what is called original goodness in it varies on sect of Buddhism, but this kind of, for me, it's this sense of innate, born zest for life, pride in being, kind of in just in being, and that very often that gets interrupted somehow as we get older. And perhaps really, I mean, some of the studies are even saying in utero, if, an unborn baby is in an environment that is stressful, where the mother is extremely stressed or whatever, that there can start to begin to be that sense of lack of safety. So this idea of original goodness is that we are all, born with this capacity for loving, kind, compassionate, wise understanding, right? And that oh, look, my first meditation teacher is calling me. Should I answer it? Hey, bud.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
I'm good. You're on speakerphone in my meditation group because you called me right as I am talking to a group.
Okay. Well, why don't you just call me later when you're done?
All right. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, hurry home.
Thank you. Hurry home. Thought he was going to be like way wiser than that. Oh, great.
I'm offended he didn't want to hang out with us.
Original goodness. Bodhicitta is another way it's described, which is this kind of perfect heart mind, like that sense of contentment that we can all tap back into. And I often think of, for some people, people are in recovery that are either online or that come to these groups. And I often think of recovery in a much broader sense than just kind of like addiction recovery. I think of recovery in this, like, recovering that which was once lost or obstructed or stolen. So it's like kind of reclaiming what is true. From the Buddhist perspective, what's true is that we all have the ability to free ourselves from suffering, and the kind of the remembering of that. So it's a beautiful question. Yeah. There's a lot that, there's kind of more to that, but your sense, which is my sense also, is that's original goodness. And we're so fucking conditioned to not believe it. especially if you're raised in a Judeo-Christian country, background, family, right? This concept of original sin is actually what we're given and what we're indoctrinated into. And so I think for Westerners, the concept of original goodness feels so foreign. Yeah, but from the Buddhist perspective, it's that we're born good, not bad, right? Kind of like what you said. And that they're actually good and bad is really just about the causes and conditions, and then how we react versus respond in our lives. Yeah. Buddhism also posits that every being has a desire to be happy. Even like Charlie Manson, like serial killers, Ted Bundy, desire to be happy. Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm just thinking of, serial killers that most people are like, what a disgusting, degenerate, like horrible person. Desire to be happy. Distorted view of maybe how to become happy. But from the Buddhist perspective, there's still, even though it's distorted, there's some form of seeking happiness, contentment, just perhaps not very skillful. Yeah. Anyway, great question. On other thoughts, questions, reflections, what came up for you? Did you like it? The calm, content, connect? The building of resilience as a byproduct of meditation. This practice is literally fortifying our brains and our nervous systems to handle stress, to increase our tolerance for distress. But that's a byproduct that happens. But that's not the true kind of goal, perhaps. There's more to it. But our Western minds, we like to, maybe Eastern minds too, although when I lived in Asia, I found that there's a different mindset that I just found that there's lots of differences, but anyway, in particular around this concept of either accepting of original goodness, recognizing that kind of bodhicitta. Anyway, that there's something else happening here. But what I was going to say is our Western kind of concepts are about figuring out or wanting to know. And we can get really so lost in that, and it pulls us farther away from what can be or what can be experienced. And I feel like one of the reasons why meditation and Buddhism and yoga and has been so helpful and been so accepted here in the West is because even though we're caught in a strategy that's not really working, we so desire to find something that will work, that is going to help us connect to our original goodness, to feel calm and content. I don't really think that capitalism is doing it. although that's pretty much the religion here. Right. Anyway. Thoughts, reflections?
I like how you unpack the original sin, Judeo-Christian thing really well, because that's what I grew up with. And it felt really just heavy, not spacious. It felt constrictive. It felt fire and brimstone. And for years, I felt like I was under that. And I think the appeal of Buddhism and like, you know, you're talking about bodhicitta or chitta or whatever, like, it's just that it's almost like that lightning, or like the de-armoring, and the silence and the ease and finding like some answers of wisdom in that, when you get concentrated. And it's like I grew up with that Judeo-Christian stuff and with toxic masculinity and fake bravado and all that stuff. And I thought that was the way to be. But in Buddhism, it's saying soften, turn toward the hot practices. And that's a real like non-toxic strength that you can abide in, and that works. Where all the other like maladaptive stuff never really worked. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I really appreciate how you unpacked it in the meditation, and I've definitely found it to be a benefit.
Yeah, causes and conditions. You know, the Buddha was a phenomenologist. This, that conditionality is the way that he talked about this experience. This, that condition. Because of this, there is that. Causality, conditionality. This idea of you know, like kind of what I was saying, like, yeah, so we're born into this world, and that this world is wrought with struggle. And to ever think that it wasn't, or isn't, or that it's not going to be, is delusion. And that our work to do here is to learn how to find freedom while being on fire, you know, while being amongst the challenges, you know. Can we learn to, it's not like, I mean, maybe there's people out there, but no one's going to do the work for you, you know. That the work to be done here is to find ways to transform our heart mind, to find freedom for ourselves, regardless of whatever happened, regardless of who fucked you over, regardless of, you know, what your upbringing was like. That's the work to do here. My teacher, Badri Das, and one of his teachers, Ram Das, would say, it's the only dance there is. In other words, this is, you know, the work to be done. And we spend so much time, I mean, myself included, I mean, I'm not exempt, just fucking zipping and dodging and avoiding, right? When so much of what this work is can we learn to calm develop a sense of contentment, not blind positivity, not seeing clearly. Contentment is being kind of okay with the way things are. You know, I have it's like an open-handedness, like Mike was saying, like it's like soften and widen. One of our teachers talks about Ajahn Sucitto, this British-born, snarky old monk, would say, what's the practice? The practice is to soften and to widen. Can we soften into our experience? Can we soften into those hard places? And can we widen to accept? And actually, there's this something about space where, as we get, if we get caught or stuck in an old pattern of thinking or reactivity, I don't know about you, but I tend to feel a contraction in my body, in my world, in my vision. This kind of everything is just becomes that thing. And that's that instinctual flipping of the lid, right? So this softening and widening is giving us space to be with whatever's happening, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So how this might relate to our traumas or difficulties, old stories. Oh, the old story. It's familiar, predictable, safe, and painful. This is, the invitation here is to do that which feels unfamiliar. It's a little bit unpredictable, maybe a little scary, but freeing, leading to happiness or joy. Even the word happiness, right, has such a negative connotation. Isn't that funny? Like, what does it really mean to be happy? That's why I like the term content. Yeah. Happiness is like a thing. It's like an experience. It comes, it goes, Oh, I can feel happy or joy. Contentment. It just feels more, I don't know, inclusive of a sustainable experience. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't know that I have much else for today. Oh, I wanted to read a thing. It's a practice of meditation by Zen Master Dojin. It says, in your meditation, you yourself are the mirror reflecting the solution of your problems. The human mind has absolute freedom within its true nature. You can attain your freedom intuitively. Do not work for freedom, rather allow the practice itself to be liberation. When you wish to rest, move your body slowly and stand up quietly. Practice this meditation in the morning or in the evening or at any leisurely time during the day. You will soon realize that your mental burdens are dropping away one by one, and that you are gaining an intuitive power, here than two unnoticed. There are thousands upon thousands of students who have practiced meditation and obtained its fruits. Do not doubt its possibilities because of the simplicity of the method. If you cannot find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? And I love that because, we can complicate things because we want to know so much. And really all we need to know, we can find right here in this practice. There's a teaching, it's called A Handful of Leaves. The Buddha was giving a talk to a large group of people in this grove. It's in a mango grove in, kind of on the border of India and what's now called Nepal. And he was traveling and teaching. Anyway, he's in this one grove and there's like kind of 200 people there. And, people gave the Buddha shit a lot. They were challenging him a lot because he was kind of radically saying things that were against the religion of the time, the predominant religions. And so anyway, people were asking him about, the existence of God and the, like superpowers and, can you levitate and, can you astroplane and, can you read minds and, what's the wisdom of the universe and, just all these different kinds of like firing questions at him, like trying to stump the professor kind of thing, right? And the Buddha reached down and grabbed a handful of leaves and said, what is more, the leaves in my hand or the leaves in this grove? And then they were like, well, obviously, the leaves in the grove. He said, exactly so. What is necessary in that I teach, what is necessary to understand is what is in my hand. And the leaves in my hand and the understanding, the practice, leading to the path of wisdom, can open the door to understanding, all that the universe has to offer. But all you really need to know is these simple practices, And then he flew off into the air like Superman. No, I don't know. Pretty sure that didn't happen. There are some funny stories about like that he like could teleport or something. But who knows? Maybe he was an X-Men. All right. Any other thoughts, questions, reflections? Meditation is a superpower. It is a radical acceptance. It is making you smarter, more emotionally intelligent, more able to attune to the world that you live in. More, it gives you the power to both be connected to what you are experiencing and have compassion and understanding of what is happening around you on a very deep and profound way. Most of us miss this. That's been my experience with meditation, these little nibbanas, these moments of awakening. that come and go, you know, available to all. So if there's no more thoughts or questions, I'm going to call my teacher back. So just to know that this center is run on the donation of those who attend. We don't have a fee. There is a suggested donation of, I think it's up to $25 as inflation increases, to help keep the lights on and, you know, this room available. And so there's a bowl, and there's a QR code on the bowl if you prefer Venmo or anything like that. Also, if you're interested, I don't charge for my teaching, of course. This is freely offered. But if you want to share in generosity, which is really what sustains this practice, what has sustained this kind of teaching, student, passing it on, paying it forward, then there's an opportunity for you to support me. And you can do that through my Venmo, which is Jason Murphy, or No BS Buddhist. Either one works. One's the tagline, one's like my actual name. You know. Anyway. All right. Let's take a moment and just gather all the goodness of our practice, all the benefit of sitting and being and doing the hard work of finding that freedom within us. May any goodness that's developed or come from our practice, may this goodness be dedicated to the freedom from suffering for all beings. May all beings be free.
Thanks.